not too long ago, I used to get a lot of anxiety around having confronting conversations. I really did not like them. And I just found it really uncomfortable to go into the conversation and feel like it was going to be an argument, or I don't know. I had a I had a lot of anxiety going into confronting conversations, and I think a lot of people do. And it's taken me until quite recently to realize that anxiety around having difficult conversations is not a mental health issue or a personality trait or anything like that. It's actually related to the anxiety being a sign that those conversations are in conflict with who you are authentically. And it's not saying that having difficult conversations can't be done authentically. It's saying that if you are a people pleaser or someone that shrinks themselves to meet other people's expectations, having a difficult conversation brings you face to face with the reality that you are not advocating for your own boundaries. Instead, you are putting yourself in a position where you are making another decision to make yourself smaller and fit in with other people's needs in order to appease them. And that's where the anxiety comes from, because your brain is frantically trying to find a way to meet the needs of the other person and not cross your own integrity for who you are as a person. And that can be very, difficult, very jarring, or even triggering, really. And that's something for myself. I've spent years struggling with that and thinking that, maybe it's just because I'm an introvert, or maybe I have this anxiety because it's a bigger mental health issue, or maybe I just simply don't like having confronting conversations. I think there's a lot of people out there that maybe approach challenging situations like that, where they're a ball of anxiety, usually before, where you're running through your head of everything that you want to say or should be said, but also after the conversation, you tend to run through and go through, I can't believe they said this or did that or wanted this or ignored my feelings or anything like that. And it's all tied up with a tendency to be people pleasing and appease others. So what do you do about this? Well, for me, I went through the process of really becoming clear and in tune with who I am authentically, and realizing that if I don't advocate for myself and my needs and my boundaries, no one else will. Why should I ever expect anyone else to abide by my boundaries when I won't even advocate for them on my own? So starting with that. Then secondly, realizing that there are going to be people out there that push your boundaries no matter what. And these are usually the people that we give the label as being toxic or abusive or narcissistic, or whatever label you want to give them. They're people that just simply do not care about you and your needs and your boundaries. And as a result, they will push them. And that's just the reality. But just because they are reacting that way doesn't mean that you need to waver. It doesn't mean that you need to be rude. It doesn't mean that you need to shut down or run away or any of that. It just means you need to hold strong. In the same way that if a river is flooding, you build the size of the river up higher and you hold strong so that water is not pushing over the edge. You need to do the same with those people. And if they're people that you have any opportunity to end the relationship, leave the relationship, make the relationships a smaller part of your life, do that, because they are not worth your time and energy to be constantly facing situations where your boundaries are being overlooked. And if you have stood up and advocated for your boundaries and your needs and your whatever you've got going on, and that's not being respected on the other side, then don't keep trying to fight for a relationship with that person. And that's whether it's a boss, whether it's a coworker, whether it's a friend, a family member, a partner, any of that. People who truly value who you are, love who you are, accept who you are, have no issue with your boundaries. It's those that don't like you and don't respect you that will be the ones pushing. So why spend your energy or your time with those individuals? Once you get through those 2 points of having clarity of who you are authentically and being willing to stand up for yourself, and then secondly, recognizing that you're not responsible for the other person's reaction, you're only responsible for holding steady on your boundary, you will find that the anxiety around confronting conversations automatically goes away. It doesn't mean that difficult conversations aren't difficult, and it doesn't mean that you stop caring about what the other person thinks or feels or their boundaries. It just means that the anxiety around having the conversation is way less than it was before. I'm curious if anyone else out there has had this experience where they have become more in tune with who they are authentically and become more in tune with what it means to have healthy boundaries in any relationship. Have you found the anxiety around confronting conversations to go down? Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you.